Hello, welcome to the EU Salt Mine. I am your host, Brian. It's round 4 of the Gauntlet now, we are more than halfway done. Today's players last met at the end of league play. Before we begin, let me say thank you to our sponsor, Manscaped. They contributed half the prize pool, the other half was given very generously and very anonymously. Flakes only landed his third place league finish in the last match, in a 3-0 sweep over his opponent today. He will want to repeat that dominance today and start a gauntlet run. Ixo had to fight to earn his world's invitation, but did so successfully beating OSM 4-2 yesterday. He has a chance to prove to Flakes that the sweep was a one-off win, and reach the final 3. Johnny is here to cast, he is very consistent.
Ixo and Flakes, both in the mark. Now this might look strange if you did not see their previous encounter, but during league play, the last series, or both of them, Flakes got a sweeping win against Ixo in the mark, against Ixo's Octane for 2 games and the Batmobile for the 3rd. And the importance of that series was immense. Winner, if it's Flakes in a 3-0, was, or rather, top 3 was guaranteed for Flakes if he won 3-0. Any other score, even a 3-1 loss, would have been enough for Ixo to guarantee top 3 for himself. So it was an insane result for Flakes, and a devastating one for Ixo. Thankfully for him, he has been able to get into the top 4 anyway and qualify for Worlds, and now he's trying to do to Flakes what he already did to him, and that's beat him in the mark. You know, with what Ixo's been capable of in the Batmobile this same tournament, I wouldn't be shocked to see him popping off in the mark. I think for him it's just half mental protection. He doesn't want to lose another Mark versus Octane series, or another Mark versus Batmobile series. He's thinking, well, at least if I lose when I'm also playing the Mark, then nobody can really call me out for it. But if I win playing the Mark, everybody's going to praise me. It's always going to look good for Ixo here. Flakes has been putting a lot of time into the Mark recently and impressing a lot of people. But he's down 2 goals already. You know, I'm impressed with what Ixo's been able to do so far. These are exchanges that Flakes usually comes out on top in, hiding behind the ball, making 50-50s happen at close range. But Ixo has been trying to improve that element of his own game as well recently. He's not just stealing shots and insane flicks anymore. He's improved significantly in these small exchanges in the midfield. He used to not really have any idea what to do defensively. Then he advanced himself into an aggressive powerhouse, and now he's toned it down a little, and he's still full on aggression at sometimes, but other times playing a more slow game. Now here it would have made more sense to back off further or just all in on the challenge, but Flakes' timing is so awkward to read. It's a good approach by him, keeping Ixo guessing. Ixo's kickoff is going to respond and give him the small advantage. Now if you think that this series is all about, it's only about getting further in the EU Gauntlet, then you're mistaken, because whoever loses this will play against First Killer in round 1 of the World's single elimination bracket, and that is not someone that anybody wants to be playing right now, at least not in the quarterfinals, in the opening round of a tournament like that. With how dominant First looked, everybody wants to try and get at least top 3, face one of the other American players before him. You know, even getting 3rd EU could be an advantage over 2nd, because you don't have to play against First Killer until the final, perhaps. Let's see if Ixo keep up this pressure. He misses his flip reset, and that's going to give Flakes an easy goal the other end of the field. Just feathering his boost to allow the ball to drop down, and it has gone in fairly easily. I'm not expecting to see anywhere near as many open net misses today as we did in the previous round. The nerves are off, certainly for Ixo. He's not going to feel anywhere near as much pressure as he did against OSM. I don't think Flakes is ever one to feel too nervous in ones. Very calm and composed player. Very calculated in his movement, his decisions. Ixo just leaves the ball briefly, but Flakes has given it straight to him. Look at this snapshot from Ixo. Hitting the ball very cleanly in the mark. There was hardly a bounce on that, but he's managed to hit it high into the air there. Perfect timing. Now, a lot of players, when the ball's rolling at them like that, will delay their dodge a tiny bit too much, and it might not seem like it would make too much of a difference, but the power that gets diluted and taken off the shot is significant. Ixo not losing any there. He's walked past Flakes again. You know, we might be seeing a new Ixo main car here, because if you take a look at the series he played against Flakes in league play, and you take a look at this game, it's night and day. He's got better control, more confidence, and certainly not as many mistakes. Flakes still playing another offense. Ixo's waiting for him and just ready to beat him to the ball. Flakes takes a 100 boost, but his counterattack is going to be too slow to deny Ixo 100 of his own. In fact, Ixo's just walked in and taken the ball from him. Flakes find an accurate opening. Look at that. Straight down the middle. Ixo thought he had time, but the recovery from Flakes was a lot better than I think he was expecting. The shot was absolutely perfect in off the far post, the one side of the goal that Ixo couldn't reach. With how many comebacks we had in the previous round in the Gauntlet, I'm sure Ixo doesn't feel too safe just yet. He'll know he's going to need to score more goals. He's going to need to waste more time before he feels like he's got this win in the bag. Flakes with a turtle dribble, pops it in off the bar. Unreal timing by Flakes. You know, he did this to Ixo last year in the Manfield Night 5K as well. Ixo just can't get away from this play. But Flakes, after practicing it all year, I think has gone one better. That is an unbelievable shot. It's difficult to get the ball to pop up that high, but going for a high pop that close to the net has to execute perfectly not to either come off the goalkeeper or the crossbar. That's a weak touch though by Flakes. He's done that twice actually, playing the ball across his own box. Maybe expecting Ixo to aggress on the initial ball. But Ixo's holding back. He's just staying close to the ball, knowing that his presence alone is sufficient pressure. There's no flip reset time here for Ixo. Flakes was challenging too early. Ixo tries to pass to himself off the near post and does so. You know, he's still dissecting Flakes' defense at times in this matchup. Flakes had a little flurry there. Impressive goals at the other end of the field, but Ixo's doubled his score here. Still looking good moving on into the next round. He'll just be happy that he hasn't been swept again, because the 3-0 was painful for Ixo the previous round. Nice free flip there by Flakes to waste some time, but that's really all he can do right now. Ixo has easily got a good enough score to get the win in game number 1. Flakes there was trying to force Ixo to own goal, but Ixo backs off again. He's been giving space for the ball between the two players today. He doesn't want to get stuck close to it, lose sight of what Flakes is doing. Flakes wants a consolation goal. He wants something to bring with him into game number 2, and he does get one. It's an absolute cracker as well. Ixo caught a piece of it, but not enough to keep it out of the net. And he won't be too upset because he's got the win in game 1.
I'll be honest, due to technical trouble I am recording these segments before I have seen the gameplay. So, wow, wasn't that gameplay just astounding? I couldn't believe when that one thing happened in one of the minutes.
Have you ever seen a more elegant mark than that of Ixo? I don't know if there have been many. Often, this is a car that makes players feel slow and sluggish. But that might even be a good thing for Ixo. He sometimes plays too fast for his own good. Let's see if it was just a game 1 fluke. Let's check to see if it was just a honeymoon period, or if Ixo really does have what it takes to beat Flakes in a Mark mirror match. Flakes already ahead by 1. And he's got the ball in his back corner. looking to get a slow bounce dribble started. He picks it up, and I think Ixo just double jumped over the ball here. Flakes was walking right into him. But did Ixo intend to double jump here? I don't know if he did, because yes, he's got a lot of respect for Flakes' ability to pop the ball quickly, but the double jump didn't give him too good of a hitbox, even if Flakes did pop it. Flakes actually just delayed his flick and walked right through underneath, and now he's trying to get by once again. He's got a lot of boost to Ixo's none, and he's ahead by 3. Ixo under more pressure in the first 30 seconds here than he was for most of last game. Flakes is dominating kickoffs, something actually that Ixo mentioned to OSM in their previous matchup. Was he felt OSM was winning most of the kickoffs. He can't let that sort of mentality affect him today. That's a big bump. Ixo sends Flakes flying away from the ball, and he sends the open net on target as well. Something that I don't expect him to have too much trouble with today. Flakes so clean with the ball control. Just walking in nice and close to Ixo, fakes a flick, and then forces the ball through. Look at this from Flakes. He's even air rolled a little bit just to sell the flick fake a bit more. Ixo certainly expected it from that range. It's something that Flakes is very good at, and even today, Flakes has had success with that same strategy. And Ixo's just popped a shot over the top of him to get back within 2 again. We have to take another look at this one, because the timing of it must have surprised Flakes. He's caught that right before it hit the ground. Flakes was expecting a later contact on it, thus wasn't back on his goal line yet, and it's bounced clean over it. And I do wonder, as Alpha 54 waits in the next round for the winner of this matchup, who he'd rather play. He's got decent history with both players. Perhaps when the pressure's off, when qualification to Worlds has already happened, he'd rather play against Flakes than Ixo. More predictable, perhaps. More readable. I mean, for Ixo, it's always been more of a mental game with him than anything else. His mechanics are just too good, and his shot selection is world class. Flakes, although more predictable, no less of an opponent, certainly no easier to beat. He's just very difficult to deny pressure. That's a brilliant double save though by Ixo, and I think Flakes is overextended. That's very rare to see. Always such a patient player, always a player who refuses to take risks unless it's absolutely necessary based on the time remaining and how far behind he may be. But here he was ahead by 2 goals, so I'm surprised that he's given Ixo any counter-attacks at all. Ixo fakes a shot, dribbles the ball out into space, and it doesn't look like he gained much there, but he did, because now Flakes has even less boost to defend with. And after saving that shot, I doubt Flakes has too much at all. Ixo's trying to bump him away from the ball, but Flakes actually saw it coming, and he blasts a shot on target. And even though his boost was running exceptionally low, with Ixo piling on the pressure, Flakes sees the opening. He knew exactly what Ixo had in mind there, and after getting bumped way out of position earlier in the series, it's a bit risky for Ixo to go for that same play again. Obviously, if it works, if he connects with the bump there, then Flakes is going to go miles, and he's never going to get back with the low boost total he had. But Ixo perhaps a bit too obvious with what he was trying to do, and again, he's passing the ball right into Flakes, who's never planning a real challenge there. He doesn't want a 50-50. He doesn't want both players to be flipping into the ball. He's got the boost under control. He knows Ixo has none. So if he can just keep the ball in that area, Ixo won't have time to go and get some. 3 goals in it. Ixo catches Flakes out on the landing. Goal is momentarily open here, but Flakes pre-flips into a save. And he's got the boost in the back corner as well. That's perfect execution by Flakes. Didn't give Ixo any openings. But Ixo's catching him out on multiple landings here. There's still plenty of time for him to make something happen, but that's not the lift-off he was looking for. Ixo flips off in the wrong direction, and now he's got no boost to play with. Has to make a flick happen just because he can't see where Flakes is. Flakes is just hiding behind the ball. He's denying Ixo full vision of the situation. And now he's denying Ixo any boost as well. At this point, Ixo wouldn't mind a 50-50. He wouldn't mind some time to go and grab a little bit of boost. It's a turtle landing, catch, and mind game attempt by Flakes. Failed on this occasion because Ixo was expecting it. I mean, at some point, Flakes will have to make a change. Ixo's starting to read his fake challenges, fake 50-50s. But likewise, Flakes is starting to read Ixo. I mean, he's got demoed a couple of times this game, but Ixo's tried an awful lot. So far, the percentage is actually in Flakes' favor. Big mind game by Flakes. He had the bottom left corner right there, staring him in the face, but he decided to go one step further. And when you're ahead by this much, I totally agree with that decision. So even if he does give the ball to Ixo, it's unlikely that Ixo's going to come back. The mind game is something, such a powerful tool to use. Get your opponent worried about what might be happening in the future. Ixo scoops one in off the back wall, and he's coming back here in the final minute. Still a long way to go. Kickoffs need to go in his favor, or certainly need to go pretty even. Flakes actually lands horrendously on the first one, and Ixo might have an opening here. He's flicked it top shelf and in. And that was not a lot of time wasted. Flakes completely messing up his kickoff approach. Just gave Ixo the ball for free, and Ixo delivered another goal. Flakes flicks a counter-attack on target though, and it's more of a counter-punch really. Yes, Ixo, you can score one kickoff goal, but so can I. I've never really seen too many of those before. It's a no-flip after flicking the ball. Trying to keep it nice and low and on target. If the net's wide open, why not? Ixo, of course, is going to shoot this ball. It's his only way to come back from 3 down, but you never expect Flakes to miss that. Double flip reset off target. Flakes trying to score flashy goal at the conclusion of game number 2. And he does end up giving away one more to Ixo, but I doubt it's going to be anything too dangerous. As long as he keeps this ball away from his goal, he will be just fine. And there's the confirmation of Flakes equalizing. We're 1-1 now in the best 7.
Thank you Manscaped for sponsoring the EU Salt Mine. There's an offer code for you, Tourney20, which is a 20% discount for Manscaped purchases. It's all level again, after a game 2 that I definitely enjoyed.
Ixo decides to switch things up. Mark battle was starting to swing in Flakes' favor. Yes, Ixo caught him off guard in game 1 with that selection. But game 2, Flakes had a good start, and he was continuing to read Ixo's movements as the series progressed, as the game rather progressed. Ixo perhaps just trying to get some practice in a car that he's likely to choose should he end up against First Killer if he does lose this series. I wouldn't be surprised to see him going for the Octane in that matchup. I mean, he's beaten First Killer in the Octane before. That was at the start of this year. One of First Killer's early appearances against European opposition. It didn't go too well for him, losing to, in fact, both of the players who are on your screen right now. And I'm sure he'd feel a lot happier and a lot more confident in a rematch, because since then he's done well for himself. He's become more of a well-rounded player, and he's even taken a couple of series off European opposition. Flakes looks like the real deal in the mark. This not a thing that anyone would want to play against. Like I said earlier, if you lose in the mark, everybody's going to say, oh well, no big deal. You were playing the mark after all, handicapping yourself. But I don't think that's how Flakes sees it. He doesn't look at this as a handicap. He looks at this as, if anything, a mental edge, because he's got all of his opponents guessing what on earth is he capable of, what's he doing next. Ixo can't get the ball off him, it would seem. Flakes with full control, and he's drawing Ixo out of the net here. Double touch off the ceiling and into the opposite end of the field in a heartbeat. Perfect execution by Flakes. The side flip there gets him so far off the wall and out into the middle of the field. You never doubt the power of the mark. If you turn backwards, everything's going to be a power shot. Ixo parachutes Flakes into the sidewall. Little sidestep for the 100 boost. And nice catch as well. Ixo, perfect execution of this entire play. He had one bump to start the play and one bump to finish it. And Ixo, or Flakes rather, couldn't avoid either one of them. He needs to keep his guard up, because if anything the mark is weak at, it would be avoidance. This car is by far the easiest to hit out of any in Rocket League. It's bigger than your shed, and Ixo has hit the target many a time already. And he's clipped Flakes there. Flakes still recovering well. If there were other stats in Rocket League besides turning circle, I believe that the mark would top the resilience category. Full armor that it's got there. Ixo nudges Flakes out of the way in the boost race, and I'd be surprised if he didn't attack this one, but he took too long. Flakes, no slouch in aerial speed, easily beats him to that one and sends it to safety. Ixo still refuses to leave. He's keeping Flakes back here, and he snipes him one more time and does tie up the game. The strategy is pretty obvious to see for Ixo. He's just going to try and slam Flakes away from every play and then put the ball in once that is done. Like I said earlier, it seems like a good idea to me. If you're up against a mark, just keep bumping him. It's very easy to make contact compared to a Batmobile or any of the other flatter cars, even an Octane. Nothing in comparison. 2-2. Flakes defending well against Ixo's Flakes for the time being. He's got good coverage of the goal. Literally parking the bus right now. Ixo not overextending too far, but he has overextended nonetheless. He was trying to play safe here. You notice that he is driving back. He's accelerating towards his own goal, but he waited too long. He didn't respect the power of Flakes' counterattack. The clear was too quick down the middle, and after multiple saves, Flakes gets back ahead for a couple of seconds. Ixo's kickoff goal down the middle has nullified that monumental effort that Flakes made to keep the ball out of his net and into Ixo's. The ball barely moved on that kickoff. Flakes tries to nudge Ixo out of the way as they both make their way to the mid boost. So staying on the ball, just walking it across the field as he gets towards 100 boost that he'd already decided was priority number one. Look at this from Flakes. The elegance in the mark has got to be next level. Look at this finesse. He's gotten underneath the ball and chipped it up with that shot over Ixo, who was turning to challenge, and these moves are not easy to make in any car. And they certainly look a lot more impressive in this one. Flakes pops the ball into open space. Now he's accidentally driven under it, but I think Ixo was expecting him to hit it, so he didn't make a punish either. And now Flakes walking in slowly, looking threatening again. He has given one ball to Ixo, relatively uncontested though, and an air dribble goes on target and wide thanks to Flakes' touch, but he's not made the best of this either. Doesn't even control the ball on landing or steal the boost from Ixo, who's taken both and takes back the equalizer. That's a couple of huge misplays by Flakes earlier on in the game. We saw him turning around at his own back corner and scoring a double touch off the ceiling. This time he ends up missing the ball pretty much, giving it away, missing the boost seal, and then turning around to try and make up for it, conceding as a result. But he's got the boost advantage here. He's got the ball directly on target, and Ixo just can't get rid of it. Not tricky enough, far too risky, far too predictable for Ixo. Flakes, of course, shuts down that dribble, and he sends Ixo back into his half with a 1-goal deficit. Ixo might have another chance here. Flakes needs to retreat. Ixo has more boost on this attack than he did in the last one. Shot is on target and in! Perfect power for Ixo, and Flakes, who usually times his challenges and times his retreats so well, could not get back and stop that one. He had most of the goal covered, but not the bottom corner. And we are completely level again in a huge game 3. Flakes led for most of it, and he'll have the last chance before 0 seconds. It's a double touch attempt that Ixo saved, but he can't catch the ball and attempt an open net. Into overtime we go. Who's it going to be? Relatively even from the center. Flakes forced to do some early defending, but he's not too uncomfortable with that. He sends a shot on Ixo's net. Ixo lands on the crossbar after sending the ball there. Flakes is pinning him back. He's still in the boost. And he's going to keep shooting. He's made Ixo hear him jump there, but Ixo doesn't mind. Has he just missed though? Yes, he has. Ixo under huge pressure. Felt the need to pull the trigger in case he was getting demoed, and as a result he misses the target. Still, forward he comes, pops the ball twice. Flakes looking a bit uncomfortable, looking a bit confused as to what Ixo just did, because I don't think Ixo meant to get in front of the ball there. And now Ixo in a usual position. He's taking the ball all the way back into his own half. Flakes unlikely to overextend from this position, but he did once already this game. And Ixo's trying to demo him again. It's just a trip-up maneuver instead. And although Ixo would love to turn around and aggress from here, it's not easy when Flakes is right behind him, threatening demos of his own. Another early challenge by Flakes, makes contact with the ball. Ixo reacted to it better this time, but still too late. Now Flakes has him all the way back in this goal line. And I don't know if he's ready for how much boost Ixo saved, and he doesn't miss the open net twice in a row. Ixo on the counter punishes Flakes for a boost steal, which was untimely. But well done to Ixo. Boost management on point, and he takes game 3.
Ixo is back in the lead now, after that, last second goal? Or overtime goal maybe? Just assume I said the right thing. What a goal it was though, and what a dramatic game of Rocket League that I definitely watched and definitely enjoyed.
Just another update on the size of Ixo's brain. He has himself called it tiny, because he's had to ask me again what the series score was. He keeps forgetting. You are ahead 2-1, Ixo. You're doing well. You're doing a lot better than you did in league play. You're doing a lot better than you did earlier in the year as well, when Flakes had your number. It's starting to look a lot more like the matchups we saw in last year's Mindful Night 5K tournament, where Ixo beat Flakes twice, once in league play, once in the Gauntlet. Those matchups were close as well. Flakes certainly a real competitor that Flakes has, or rather that Ixo has struggled to deal with after the aggression became part of his game. Flakes used to just sit in goal and counter-attack as a full-time job, but he knows how much value there is in ball pressure these days. How many mistakes can be forced just by simply driving forward and making your presence felt. And what car has more of a presence than the Mark? Flakes aside, and a backflip would be unwise after the ball got away from him a bit there. But Ixo's running out of boost, he's got to be careful. At any minute Flakes might launch a shot on net, and he'll want to have boost to reach it. He does barely, but he's still losing the battle here, slowly but surely. It's a good save. I don't think Flakes did enough there to move the ball away from positions Ixo is comfortable with. And that's a much better flick from Ixo. Look at the power as he sends another one over Flakes' head. You know, the timing here for Ixo is brilliant, because the last time he saw Flakes was a good while ago. If he waited any longer, he was running the risk of getting challenged. And I think Flakes was thinking about it. He didn't want to give Ixo any more space to dribble with, but as soon as he turned around, the ball gets launched over his head. And it's something you always have to consider with Ixo. His boomer flicks are world class, and today they're showing up. 2-1 lead for Ixo as he moves ahead of Flakes by another kickoff goal. Kickoffs have been back and forth between these two so far. This is brilliant ball control by Ixo. He doesn't have any boost, but he's already got Flakes under pressure. He's taking the 100 boost in the corner. Might try and get a rebound here. Flakes is there to deny him anything so far. And again, using the back wall to get to the ball as quickly as possible. That's well done by Flakes. It looked like he was really under pressure for a second. Ixo decides not to dodge fast. He's popping the ball from underneath. And that is next level. No doubt Flakes was expecting a ceiling shot to go down low and across the goal, because that was really the only place that Ixo could shoot it. He didn't think Ixo was going to get under the ball and pop it a second time. The power of the shots from Ixo in this game have been causing Flakes problems. Every single one of them getting lasered past him. Flakes not connecting well with the first touch. His ball control lets him down. Timing on the boost steal does not though. And he's certainly got Ixo in an uncomfortable position. Tries to demo him away from the ball. Ixo off his own bar, keeps his momentum and sends the ball clear again, and that's key. If he didn't go off his own crossbar there, Ixo would have had to slow down to a standstill. It wouldn't have been easy for him, but this is just unreal. Flakes is relentless, and Ixo will not let that one go unnoticed. That is the advantage of a turtle catch. The flick happens so quickly after that first pop. Some people might think that it's just styling, but there really is a reason to do this. It's very difficult for your opponent to guess. I mean, earlier we saw Flakes just scoring with the turtle pop. This time it's more of a first touch, and that variety is huge. Ixo doesn't know whether it's going to be a really fast first touch that he needs to get ready for, or if it's just going to be more of a controlled approach. And here we do see Flakes with the latter. Moves in for the boost seal. Ixo has more now than he did earlier though, so Flakes will have to be careful. It's patient play by Ixo, and he's mixed things up as well. He's keeping Flakes guessing, and he's found a way through. A very rare thing to see Flakes getting scored on with a low 50-50, but the last thing you did was score on him by popping the ball over him. It's not a bad time to try going low. Ixo thought about trying to rebound that one in after flying off Flakes' crossbar. Again, he's got credit for Flakes, who's playing very well at times here. That save was very impressive. In fact, getting the ball to hit the crossbar, bounce down, actually played into Flakes' hands, and now this exchange will as well. 1:11 on the clock, and Flakes is back within a single goal. Ixo taking himself out the game there. Flakes kept the ball nice and close to him. And I think most exchanges in the midfield are ending up with Flakes on 100 boost and Ixo running out. Not all of them. So certainly not completely outmatched in that regard, but overall he is losing in these back and forth battles. And I think he might have won this one though. That's a really good challenge angle by Ixo. Notice how he dodges to the right to deny the only shooting angle that Flakes had there. Flakes gets stuck on the outside of the ball in a losing position. These are goals that I'm not used to seeing Flakes concede. One, low 50-50 going under him, and now 50-50 in the midfield going by him. Credit to Ixo, he's keeping Flakes guessing. He's such a difficult player to read, Ixo. He's bumped Flakes again, and then scores in reverse to go ahead by 3. And just like in a series against OSM, Ixo is set to lead 3-1 after game 4. Flakes needs 3 goals in 35 seconds if he's going to prevent that from happening, and he's not going to get one here because Flakes is completely backed up against a wall, and everywhere he looks Ixo's denying him any exit out of it. 29 seconds left, 4 goals needed, and even Flakes, with all of his comeback potential, is going to struggle to see a way out of this position. Has to up the pace if he's going to have any chance. Clock is his worst enemy right now, but the flip reset gives him a glimmer of hope. Again, Ixo sings his praises in the quick chat. You have to look back to the series these two played in league play of the Manfield Night 5K last year. Flakes scored a turtle dribble goal. He scored a flip reset goal. He's done the same again today. Of course, those two things are far more common these days, but no less impressive to see. Ixo's kickoff does the job for him. At the end of this game, it's been too solid. And Flakes has run out of time. He's down 3 games to 1. Needs 3 wins in a row if he is going to move on.
It's a 3-1 lead again for Ixo, and it is Flakes who is left needing 3 game wins in a row today. If Flakes can take over here in Game 5, he might go on to win the series. It is a huge challenge though, lots of pressure is on now.
Now, regardless of how this series goes from here, I think Ixo's going to be quite happy that he's been able to beat Flakes twice in a row in his current main vehicle. Or at least one of them. I'd still say Batmobile. One of his mains recently. So if he did play the entire series here with the Mark and ended up getting a win, yes, it would have been somewhat embarrassing for Flakes to lose to someone who's just copied his car choice of recent times. But it would always have been question mark on Ixo. You'd think, well, did I just win because Flakes wasn't prepared for the mirror match? Did that get inside his head? Obviously that's going to be good if they play again, but against everybody else where Ixo's not likely to play the market, might not be that useful practice. This practice has been very valuable to him. Again, a couple of wins in the Octane against Flakes, a player who's had his number recently and given him lots of problems. Flakes really has played his own style of game here. He's not been forced to do anything too different by Ixo, and Ixo's quite happy to let Flakes do his thing. Many double saves, keeping him in the game defensively. And he's handling Flakes' possession plays with patience, which is how he needs to do it. Flakes trying to mix things up in defense again. He got caught out of position in the last game by several quick shots. And it looks like both players, in fact, are trying to move the ball early in the midfield to counter early challenges. The difference is that Ixo did indeed go for one. Flakes did not, and it's always questionable to challenge early on a bounce dribble. The vision is definitely going to be there for the attacking player. See there that Flakes had perfect vision of Ixo coming in. Ixo has to dodge early here. He's already jumped off the ceiling. Flakes was in the way. Ixo would have loved to delay his dodge a bit more, give himself time to get underneath the ball and scoop it up higher, but you don't have that luxury if you've already jumped off the ceiling. You've got 1.5 seconds to dodge, or not at all. Flakes trying to frustrate Ixo here, trying to keep him away from his own goal, but Ixo is coming out on top of another physical exchange. And although this one didn't involve a demo or a big bump, it's just as effective. Flakes just got tripped up there. He drove right in front of Ixo, and there was no recovering from that. 1-1, just over 2 minutes into the game. It's low scoring so far, which I would say usually in this matchup favors Flakes. He knows he'll have lots of time between goals to try and find a way through. Ixo's holding on here. He wants a 50-50 to get rid of the ball, to give him time to grab some boosts and prepare himself to defend the next Flakes attack. Coming down the middle like so many of them have. Flakes double jump pops it into the bar. Ixo is there to make sure that's where it ended up. Ixo sends one down the line again, just looking for space to grab boost, but Flakes isn't giving him any. Ixo's missed a few small boost pads there in favor of the large one that's waiting for him at the other end of the field. Flakes wave dash dribbles it, bottom left. And you can't really give Flakes this much space. I think it would have made more sense there for Ixo to grab some small pads and turn around earlier, because Flakes is just too deadly from close range, especially if he builds up that much speed. His low challenges and 50-50s are going to have more momentum behind him, and he's going to have more power on any angle changes of the ball. And again, Flakes looking threatening. Ixo saved by the post with just under 2 minutes left. He's being kept back and restrained by Flakes. Not allowed to play the game that he wants to play, the aggressive game. Flakes actually misses wide of the net, but he's still got enough boost to retake control of the ball. A good turnaround by Flakes. Ixo, you can tell, is starting to get frustrated here. He would love to play Rocket League, but at the moment, for most of the time, he's just another player in Flakes' free play arena. 3-1 lead for Flakes in Game 5. 3-1 lead for Ixo in the series. That's a nice pre-flip onto the ball. He's got space out left to use. Early cut in field by Flakes, or by Ixo rather. Flakes was ready for it. Ixo sends one to the bar. Rebound is slow and down the middle. Confidence not really there for Ixo to put the ball wide into a corner or high into the roof of the net. Instead, he hits it right at Flakes, who has very easily dribbled past him on the recovery. That was about as far from an all-in move as you're ever going to see. That's a pretty easy game for Flakes so far. Ixo struggled to dispossess him. He struggled to pressure him safely. And again, with perfect vision, Flakes sees Ixo coming and sends the ball past him. That is the #1 problem for Ixo right now. I think I can count 3 goals this game at least where he's turned to challenge in plain sight. And that's not going to work against someone like Flakes, who's always watching, always waiting for misplays to occur. But you know, credit to Flakes, he is playing so well. He hasn't given anything away. And Ixo trying to run the ball back into his own corner. Gives another possession to Flakes, so he immediately punishes. This is a best case outcome for Flakes in game 5. If he's going to get 3 in a row here, take the series, he had to try and get inside Ixo's head with a big win. And this is about as big a win as you're going to see. Unreal touch by Flakes as he blindly predicts Ixo's challenge and pops it over him and into space that he can chase and Ixo cannot. How much of a pattern is that for this series? Ixo chasing the play and unable to reach it. Flakes seemingly one step ahead everywhere that they go. 7-1, a devastating score. And Ixo's not going to get any consolation goals if Flakes has his way. He'll be quite happy to keep the score as is. I'm sure he also wouldn't mind getting 1 more for the road. And he might, because Ixo's struggling here. But Flakes lets it drop. And that does confirm the Brazil in Game 5.
That is a Game 5 win to Flakes, and a big win too. From over here it was over in a flash. With that scoreline to consider, Ixo will go into Game 6 feeling more nervous. Flakes has a chance now to capitalize on this shift in the direction of the series.
Still the octane for Ixo, and I don't expect that to change for the remainder of this series. You never know, maybe he'll throw a spanner in the works in Game 7, but for now, he's trying to get the same score that he got in the previous round, a 4-1 win. 4-2 win, I should say. Flakes' avoidance level is through the roof right now. Even in the mark, he's so hard to hit. Navigates his way to safety as Ixo is coming in for him. Ixo's got the boost in favor here, and Flakes invested a lot of his to get back, and he does in fact make a second save. Ixo won't miss the 3rd try though. And you can't really blame Flakes for trying to grab boost here. I don't think there was any way he was getting back to save this. Even if he did turn immediately, it was just too far away. He was hoping, okay, well, if this ball does bounce wide, at least I'll have 100 boost to make a play on it. If it doesn't bounce wide, well, I'm probably getting scored on anyway. But this is a chance now for Ixo to put this series beyond all doubt. He's going to try and frustrate Flakes. He's going to try and give Flakes a taste of his own medicine. Minutes and minutes of gameplay with absolutely nothing to show for it. Double pass from Ixo to himself off the sidewall. The wall beside the goal, I should say. Flakes is still there to keep the ball out of his net. Always forcing Ixo to make that 1 more shot. It's like great sportsmen in any discipline. They'll always make you take 1 more shot before you score. They'll always make you take 1 more hit before you get the ball past them. That's exactly what Flakes does. He doesn't give you an easy way through. You have to work for it. You have to work for every single goal. You have to work for every single play. And I think he might have just slotted one in. It's off the bar and in. Flakes perfectly hits the flick top corner. And he didn't have a lot of time to do that. Look at the catch. That's just unreal. Straight onto the car and away again as Ixo is coming in for another bump. The speed that Flakes just executed that play has been rewarded. He gets a kickoff goal as well. And the way things are headed, the way things are looking, the way this game has evolved, it really does look like Game 7 is a possibility. And that's a Game 7 where Flakes would have a huge edge mentally. Ixo misses his touch on the ball with a pre-flip. Flakes takes it into the corner for the boost steal. And Ixo is struggling here. Lots of panic touches, not ending up in the location he wants. And once again, after a short back and forth, Flakes has 100 boost and Ixo has none. And it's going to be much harder for Ixo to get that turnover. End up with the boost advantage again, because Flakes really doesn't give it back. He never gives it back. And it felt like it was coming eventually. We didn't have to wait too long for it. Flakes avoids another Ixo bump and sends the ball on target. 3-1. Ixo just has to find a way to exchange boosts in a more positive manner. Every time that these two end up in a battle where one player has the ball and the other has to answer, it's Ixo's boost that's running out, not Flakes. Just a more efficient player, a more calculated player perhaps. He knows what to go for and what to leave. Ixo, again, completely starved. If that was ever going to be a counter-attack, he needed to have at least 50 boosts to accelerate with. He's got none. Meanwhile, Flakes is zooming around the field with every single pad in the world, and he puts another goal in. And the difference is as clear as day. The boost management is just swinging further and further into Flakes' favor the longer this series goes. Ixo is doing well enough earlier. He wasn't at all winning that fast in the game. I don't think he ever has in this matchup. But at least he was preventing Flakes from dominating. But now he can't do that. Flakes is absolutely crushing Ixo in that aspect of the match. Just casually catches the ball as it's half across his own goal line. Flakes pre-flips into position, pops the ball to a safe location, but it's not too safe. Ixo catches him on the landing and puts a shot on target. Very nice awareness again by Ixo. Yes, he got beaten to the ball, but that doesn't mean that the play is over. Doesn't mean that Flakes isn't vulnerable. Now Ixo does start off another kickoff with a boost advantage. This is one of the only times he's going to have one, but he hits the bar with the uncontested shot. It looks like Flakes is completely starved though, and Ixo finds a way through. You know, he's playing keep away well here. Better to hit that shot too high than too low. It's better yet to hit it into the goal. That's what Ixo did in the third try. Like I said before, this is the one time in the game where Ixo tends to have a boost advantage after a kickoff that he can win. He tries to get the result straight away. You feel like if it ever ends up in the midfield, Flakes has already won. Will he do it again? Yes, he will. Just walking closer and closer to the goal, faking every shot on the way. And just like earlier, Flakes likes to air roll on his fake shots just to convince his opponent that little bit more that it is coming. So with a minute left in the game, Flakes takes a 2-goal lead and possession after a kickoff. Both players got 100 boosts here, but you'll notice it's swinging more and more into Flakes' favor the longer time goes by. But Ixo's managed to get the ball past him, and thank goodness for him that he did, because he invested everything in this challenge. If Flakes hid behind that ball, I don't know what was going to happen. It didn't look good for Ixo. But credit to him, he's making plays. He's not had too many opportunities in the last 2 games. But when he has, he's taken a lot of them. Flakes denies Ixo the equalizer as we approach the final 30 seconds. Another goal here for Flakes would make this an incredibly difficult position for Ixo. Now he is trying to save a bit more boost, and look at that, being put to good use, keeping Flakes out the game, but he sent the wall shot wide and into the offensive corner. Flakes is not going to miss that read. 15 seconds left, still ahead by 1, and Ixo's forced back into his own corner. One more chance before 0 seconds for Ixo. He's got a good approach here. He's going to try and slow play it, but Flakes, the king of slow plays, watches it happen, and the ball is decked. We are going to Game 7.
Flakes draws the series level in what I assume was an intense game that was dramatic to the very end. If it wasn't, then let's all pretend it actually was for my sake, okay? We have reached Game 7 though, that seems exhausting to me.
Ixo really struggled to put it together in the final third at the close of Game 6. That's a real problem for him because Flakes isn't giving him too many chances, and if he doesn't take more of them, we're going to see a similar outcome as Games 5 and 6. That might have been the play that Ixo should have tried on 0 seconds. I'm curious as to why he didn't try it. Air dribble demo Flakes out the goal. Obviously, Flakes had a good answer to a few of them, but I think enough of them have worked. Enough of these demo plays have worked for Ixo to merit at least giving it a go, especially on 0 seconds where air dribble bump is often king. But Ixo can't think about that right now. He has to get his head in Game 7 and get ahead in Game 7. This Flakes is difficult to come back against. Ixo playing efficiently. He's trying to play a more economical game here, but he's missed the 100 boost pad, and that is going to allow him another impossible save. And he's only got himself to blame there. If he had turned sooner and actually hit the 100 pad, I believe he would have reached that. Flakes ahead by 1. He takes his opportunity. And Ixo's also going to take his. A gift from the kickoff gods as Flakes sees his lead evaporate. Either player advancing here would, of course, leave Alpha a little bit worried. He's had close series against both in the past. That's a great save by Ixo, one of his best all day, in fact. He's been able to collect the ball afterwards as well. But it's also worth mentioning, no matter who loses this game, won't give First Killer an easy matchup in his first round. There are no easy matchups in EU Rocket League, and there is the pop bump from Ixo. This is what I think he should have done at the end of the last game. At least he's done it here, and he knew exactly where Flakes was going to be, because the last couple that Flakes has stopped have been as a result of him sitting on the goal line nice and low, letting Ixo fly over him, and then he gets a save on the ball. But Ixo flew down to the ground just to get him there, and he's won a kickoff afterwards as well. Close range flick by Ixo, crosses the line, and Flakes might be in a bit of trouble here. Ixo's starting to convert on a lot of opportunities, and he's starting to get better kickoffs as well. Can he keep that up? One does go in Flakes' favor. This is a big win for him, in fact. Ixo comes in and immediately challenges the ball. He doesn't want to give Flakes any time to turn and start a dribble. Many a player would have gone back into their corner for a 100 boost there, but not Ixo. He knows how important ball pressure is in this matchup, and he is destroying Flakes with bumps here. 3 huge hits, actually, which have all resulted in Flakes being knocked out of the way. And again, Ixo makes contact with him, and the air dribble bumps, the pop bumps, the demos on the ground are all catching Flakes out of position. Look at that by Ixo. He's just flown out of a flick to make contact with Flakes. And Flakes giving him full credit for it. Always someone who's willing to acknowledge when his opponent has made a good play. And this is huge for Ixo, someone who's struggled in Game 7s, Game 5s in the past, when he's been the one who's thrown a lead away. He is showing up in this one, and it's against a player who's won the last 3 matchups that they've played. Air dribble dunk from Ixo. That also goes in. 6-1. And this is game number 5 in reverse. Ixo unstoppable when he's on form. Offensively, easily one of the best in the world. Although Flakes might have the best defense on his day, he has to up the aggression here. He can't beat Ixo when he allows him this much time on the ball, when he gives Ixo this many shots to try and figure out his own offensive game plan. We're already into the second half of the game, and Ixo's coming at him again. He's trying to score with Flakes' favorite shot, but the landing wasn't there for Ixo. The ball did bounce out of control. Still though, that's almost 20 seconds gone since the last Ixo attack, and he's the one aggressing again. He's the one controlling the play. Flakes just can't get it off him right now, as Ixo couldn't get it off Flakes earlier in the series. I think it was those bumps that really brought Ixo back into it, but this touch is less than ideal. Not really more than a pass to Flakes, who doesn't miss from this position. Great punish by Flakes. He didn't slow down on the approach at all. He knew time was the essence there. Ixo's still in control, ahead by 4. Tries to snatch another shot in the bottom corner. Flakes sends it wide, grabs a 100 boost, and now he's on the attack. It's getting risky for Ixo. He was dominating this game earlier on because he was able to control the possession for so long and not give Flakes any openings, but now we're starting to see Flakes get more chances on the ball, and he's bumped Ixo out of position, looking for the fast track down the middle. Ixo closes the door. Flakes has just failed a wave dash, and Ixo almost ahead by 5 again. The bar denies him and saves Flakes, but Ixo's playing this one smartly. He knows if he just wastes some more time, the game is his. Flakes perfectly reads the bounce, but Ixo's all over him. He's giving him no time, no space to play with. Flakes grabs another 100 boost, but he still can't get rid of Ixo, who's been bumping the living daylights out of him in this last game. 48 seconds left. 4 goals needed for Flakes. That's almost 1 every 10 seconds. And Ixo's not planning on giving him 1, far less 1 every 10 seconds. Flakes has to get moving. He has to get the ball into the orange half, get it on target as quickly as possible, but the wave dashes are letting him down. The recoveries have just not been there, and Ixo is going to stop the ball on the goal line to waste even more valuable seconds. Flakes, I think he knows that this one is all over. 19 seconds left. Ixo ahead by 5, and he gets revenge on Flakes, who beat him in the last 3 matchups that they played. And what a way to do it. Game 7 for Ixo. He'll move on to play against Alpha in the next round, and who knows, maybe Khaled as well. Well played to Ixo. An unreal series from him at times. Flakes takes 4th and will play against First Killer in Worlds.
Ixo pulled himself together for that game, it seems. Today's marathon is over, and ends with a more one-sided game in Ixo's favor. Flakes came close again, but this time does not get the final game result that he needed. What a series. I hope. In my book, any 7-game series must have some merit. If I misrepresented it at all, blame technology. It's goodbye to Flakes, but not for long. He will return for the World Finals, which are just a few days away now. Ixo officially makes this a gauntlet run, with 2 wins now. If he wants to make it to 3, he will need to beat Alpha 54 tomorrow, in another best of 7. The winner will reach the EU final. Thank you again to Manscaped for sponsoring the EU Salt Mine. There's an offer code for Manscaped purchases, Tourney20, which will give you a 20% discount. Join us again tomorrow for the penultimate series in the EU mine. I am excited to see it. Thanks for watching today. This is the EU Salt Mine. I am your host and friend, Brian.